Hi, weirdos. You are listening to and hopefully watching Keep It Weird, the podcast for all things otherworldly, suspicious, eerie, spiritual, alien, and everything in between. Each week, we sit down together from across the country and we talk about something weird. And this episode is, of course, no exception, as we are going to quickly go down the rabbit hole. We might spiral out of control, as we usually do, and we will explore the sun, energy, and our kooky minds, how it is all connected together. But after that, we are going to travel to the beautiful, romantic, quiet lands of Appalachia, or however you like to pronounce it, which honestly will be a talking point at some point in this. So we will have a debate and just everyone prepare yourselves. But we are going to dive deep into that world. You already know what's coming, I am sure, in some respect, but also not at all.
Not at all, guys.
Let's travel to the unknown. Let's spiral down the unknown, and let's just have a weird old time together. My name is Lauren, and this is my beautiful co-host and bestie, Ashley.
Hi, weirdos. I can already tell this is going to be a freaky fucking episode because I know my
Freaky deaky.
topic is fucking wild stuff. And just from the little tiny tidbits I've gotten of what you're talking about today, I think it's going to be crazy. Plus, we have some crazy breaking news right now. Did you hear?
What?
Did you hear that one of the guys who is on the Warren tour taking Annabelle all over the country just died in his hotel room this past weekend in Gettysburg?
What?
Yeah.
Just for no reason?
Well, I mean, the reason hasn't been released to the public. I don't know exactly what happened, but EMTs were there and then he fucking died. His name was Dan Rivera. Cause of death unknown. He was in his 50s.
50s. That age was going to be the next thing. Okay, so he was in his 50s and he was helping bring Annabelle around. And so are we all understanding that the Annabelle tale is true?
Don't touch her.
Don't you dare.
I was telling Joe about it, and he's like, here's the thing. I don't fucking believe in that shit at all. Don't touch the doll.
I can imagine him being like, just don't touch the doll. Don't touch it. My husband doesn't believe in that shit either. He would not touch the doll. Which I also think is funny when they're like, I don't believe in that, but and it's like, okay, well, you're not going to touch the doll. So clearly, you sort of believe, but that's another story. But don't touch the doll.
Just don't touch it.
Don't touch it. Oh, well, that's very sad and scary and weird.
It's horrific. I wasn't I didn't know him. I know he was a figure of the paranormal community, because that's how I learned about it. A lot of the people that I follow in the paranormal community were posting their I can't believe he's gone posts, and it was like, oh, so sad, da 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 da. And then when I clicked on his profile, it was just all these pictures of him with Annabelle, and I was like, whoa. And then I realized he was the roadie. Well, not roadie. He was the presenter. He was more than a roadie, but
Right.
you'd see videos of him loading and unloading this. So he had his hands all over her. Ah! Stop touching this doll. Put the doll away.
If we needed any more proof, put her away, ladies and gents. It's good, not good breaking news, but good goss.
Yeah, good hot goss. Also, speaking of hot goss, look what I found.
Oh my God.
It's the burn book.
I'm so obsessed that you found that. Wait, where did you find it?
Check her out. What a rock star. I mean, I knew that it was here somewhere. And this, this morning, I was like, I'm just going to pop in. I think it's in my closet. And weirdly enough, as soon as I opened the door, I could see the corner of her on the floor, tucked underneath a suitcase. And I was like, there she is.
Obsessed.
And I do have a very crude drawing of the Loch Ness Monster in here somewhere.
Is it the one that'll get tattooed?
Yeah, I hope not. I hope no one does. What's this? Are we sure?
Oh, what? Are you okay?
Are we positive? Rough stuff.
I'm worried about you. But
Yeah.
also obsessed. Thank you for finding that. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, check this out. Don't float above me when I'm drowning in the abyss. That's a Dane Cook quote.
Well, how do we feel about Dane Cook?
Oh, he's a real super creep now. I
Is
don't
he?
like that he's, well, I just don't like that he's in his 50s and he was dating a teenager. Like, that's rough.
Ooh, what?
But she's 19, Lauren.
No, I didn't
No,
know.
she's not anymore. I think she's like, they've been together for a while.
Doesn't
They've been
matter.
together for a
She
couple
was,
years.
if they start. Oh my.
She was, yeah. And it's just like, oh boy, okay. All right.
Okay, well. But we used to love him.
And then there's a big warning on the front that says, warning, this should not be read at night, especially in the dark, especially at night. Is that a Haunting of Hill House reference? Like, what does that mean?
What's going on?
What does that mean?
Especially at night.
So, Burn Book is here if anyone would ever like to hear an excerpt from this.
What I love is an Ashley Cassidy burn book is like just creep USA. You know, like it's not just a regular burn book. It's like
Yeah, there's still a Loch Ness in here.
there's still there's a Loch Ness and there's like all the spooky tones.
Lest we forget, it's not a fucking burn book.
No, of course.
There's no burns in here.
There's no sick burns. It's mostly cryptids.
I will say we do talk a lot of shit about teachers, so maybe she got mad about. Oh, this is a good page.
Ooh, let's
This
see
is
it.
a bunch of song lyrics, just sort of like peppered about. But man, there's Taking Back Sunday.
Oh,
There's hands down. This is the best day I can ever remember.
Always remember.
Bad.
Man, that is a song
Bad.
that I wish my band would cover. But like, yes, we can say it's Dashboard. You can
Confessional.
say all you want. Like, we don't have to say they're good. But if I could sing that on a stage,
If you sang that song, people would lose their fucking minds.
Correct, Ashley. And so, but
they'd lose it.
I brought it up at a practice once, and my bandmates were like, they like played along with me, and because they're such good musicians, like all I had to do was like say a couple lyrics, and they like picked up, and we played through the whole song. It was great. I was like closing my eyes on the verge of tears singing it at a rehearsal, and then they were like, "Oh, too bad. We'll never do that." And I was like, "Oh,
okay. First of all,
okay.
What's the problem? Are you guys allergic to good music?
Excuse you."
Oh, and then randomly, Jeremiah was a bullfrog. So, anyways, it's a
was a good friend of mine, you know.
Pretty eclectic.
You are the most fascinating person to ever exist, and I always learn new things about you, which keeps us.
It keeps it fresh. Yeah. Everyone's like, how do you guys stay married for so long? And we
because
just
Ashley keeps it
fresh.
real fucking fresh. All right, let's go to the episode.
Let's get into it. Actually, before we get into it, I'm going to do this at the top because I always do it at the end, and I know how podcasts work. A third of you are still here by the time I get to this. So,
Truly.
real quick, follow us on social media at Keep It Weirdcast and on TikTok, Keep It Weird Podcast. We just post clips from the show. So if you're not someone who like watches the show regularly, but you want to see little snippets of our faces, because still to this day, somehow people are like, I thought you were Lauren and she was Ashley. And I'm like, what?
That is still the funniest thing to me. I know.
We've had video content for 7 years.
It's so funny.
So follow us on social media. Join our Patreon, please, at www.patreon.com/keepitweirdpodcast. We put out 2 bonus episodes every single month. We have discounts on merchandise if you're a patron. Plus, you get free tarot card readings whenever your heart desires.
Whenever.
You can donate $1, $5, $10, even $50 once, or you can set up a monthly payment to get access to everything. And I always tell people this, feel free to come and go. A lot of listeners do that. They'll give us 10 bones like every 4 months or so and just binge episodes. I love the hustle. I'm not mad at you. I love that. But this is how we produce our show. So if you're a fan, you want us to keep going, that's how you do it. You can also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/keepitweirdpodcast. Those are all totally free. They make us look good. What are you waiting for?
Support us.
We're your girls, okay? We've got your back.
Girls for life.
Anyways, Lauren, start us off. What do you have for us today?
Well, weirdos, we are about to jump down.
Love the rabbit hole. I fucking love it down here. I never want to leave.
It's my first time, which I'm very
It is your
excited.
first one. I'm so excited for you.
Baby's first rabbit hole. So we are going to go from the sun in the sky, quite literally, to the ground beneath our feet.
Beautiful.
And then the little fun joke that I want to throw in there is we are going to talk about Sinbad at the end as well. So we're going to go from the sun to Sinbad.
Both shining stars.
Both shining stars in the sky, and we are going to make it there.
I had a very funny moment. I just have to give a shout out to my friend from college, Jimmy, married this great girl. Her name's Lindsay. I love her so much.
I had the pleasure of meeting her briefly. She's lovely.
She's lovely. We were just hanging out 4th of July. It was late. It was nighttime. We'd been drinking all day, right? No one's sober. So I'm laying on a blanket watching the stars, looking for UFOs.
Of course.
And she comes over and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm looking at the stars." And so she lays down. First of all, she's got 2 pieces of cold pizza stacked on top of each other, and she's eating them like one piece.
That is my bitch. That is my girl right there.
She even goes, "Do you want a bite?" And I was like, "No, I'm good." And so she's eating her pizza. And she says something to me. I don't remember the exact line, but it was like, "Look at all the stars. Like, can you imagine? Like, what is even going on?" And I was like, "Well, you know." And I sat there and I explained to her, speaking of rabbit holes, because this was my first rabbit hole, I explained to her how stars were made and how when the stars created, all of that shit that like gets burst out from it start to get caught in the gravity, clump up, and form the planets. So like the star actually gives birth to all the planets that orbit it. So our star really did create every single planet that orbits it, and every organism on that planet came from our star. And she's just like, "That's incredible." And I was like, "I know." So I'm thinking I just changed her life. 10 minutes later, I'm with the group and she comes up, she sits next to me and she was like, "What were we even talking about over there?"
Stop.
And I was like, "I told you how stars were made and how they created the planets." And she goes, "Oh, I thought it was something serious." And I was like, "It's most serious. You can't get more serious. That's how
I will
we
never
exist.
be more serious.
What do you mean?" And she was like laughing really hard because she was like, "I meant like I thought it was
like you were
I don't
telling
know,
me something like
relationships or like something
yeah.
deep." And I was like, "No, I was teaching you about stars." Anyways,
I was just teaching you about stars and planets. That is very important.
so that's what I'm like at a party.
Well, yeah, and like I love those memes of like, wanna talk to me at a party, let's talk about like the paranormal, the aliens.
I can't help myself. I cannot help myself.
You can't hold the information inside.
I like to think I change lives, but
You do.
I clearly didn't have enough of an impact on Lindsay.
That is so funny.
Anyways, go on.
What
were we even talking about over there?
It's so funny. Okay. So this feels like me at a party is what we're about to do.
Yay.
So I went down a rabbit hole, and it starts with, I feel like this also connects to our segment like I had a thought, because that's how it starts.
Yeah.
I was literally like, so it's hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot. The sun, like I looked up at the sun one day and was like, because I had sweat beads going down my face, it wasn't like a cute like glisten. I was like, why am I so hot, sun?
Yeah.
And like obviously I know like whatever the science, that's not what, but anyway, so I was like, I want to like look into the sun. And for whatever reason, TikTok, being the like listener it is, because our phones listen to us, I
Mhm.
started getting stuff on like the sun and how it knows us. It looks into our minds. And I was like, pardon? So this is how the rabbit hole started.
Okay.
So the sun is watching us, essentially.
All
We've
right.
heard of like solar flares and space weather,
Yeah.
and most people don't realize that the sun's activity like really, really affects life on Earth in like human form, how we are acting. So it when it ejects a CME or coronal mass ejection, it sends a cloud of charged particles towards Earth at over 1,000,000 miles per hour, and then they slam into our magnetic field and cause a geomagnetic storm. And the biggest ones will take over our GPS systems, our radio towers, our entire power grids. And in 1989, there was a solar storm so big that it blacked out all of Quebec in within 90 seconds. So like we've seen this, we know how powerful it is.
Yeah.
But what's weird is like the human physiology reaction to some of the solar activity. So
Makes sense.
a study was published in the Journal of Biological Rhythm Research. It found that blood pressure, heart rate, and melatonin production fluctuate with geomagnetic shifts. Like, and not
Mm.
just like a little fluctuation, like big time. And what's even crazier is multiple studies, including data from Russia, Japan, and like right here, like what NASA is discovering, it shows correlations between solar storms and increased hospital admissions for mental illness, strokes, and heart attacks, which I did not realize. So I was like,
Jeez.
I know solar storms like can be a big deal. It was like the science part of it I understood, but I didn't realize how much it was affecting like the brain.
Individuals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like our minds, and then like also then that how that affects us, in this physical way.
It makes sense.
It totally does.
We have an electromagnetic field,
We do.
so its powers are apart.
It totally makes sense, but still to me it was like this mind-blowing moment of like, oh my gosh, like the fact that now there is this like data saying, well, now they're all like going to the hospital here, and usually it is some kind of like anxiety or like full on nervous breakdown that people are having
Right.
when it is increased. So that was very interesting. And then in 2008, there was a review of data from 260,000 suicides that took place in India, and it found a statistically significant spike in suicides during a geomagnetic disturbance. And it was always during like a big disturbance,
Jeez.
and then people were taking their own lives. 260,000.
There was a correlation of some kind.
Yeah, and it was like, this is crazy. Like, we can't look away from this. Like, they are lining up perfectly. So it was just one of those things where suddenly, years later, scientists were like, wait a second, let's look at this. So people have also reported insomnia, migraines, brain fog during the super strong solar activity. And some people report feeling like they're buzzing or just off, like their frequency isn't matching the room anymore, like they just don't know how to describe what they're feeling. And this is all from the sun.
Yikes.
So it's proven that solar storms are messing with our brains. I mean, I would say it's proven. Obviously, this isn't official because it's still being studied. Like I said, people are just starting to notice some correlations. So this
Yeah,
is
well,
new.
because you have to think correlation is not causation. Just because two things line up doesn't mean that one causes the other. However, the more data you collect,
Hello.
we're getting close. Yeah.
Like, look at it's just like a wild thing of now people are starting to go, wait a minute. This
Hmm.
is crazy. So they're messing with our brains, we think. But if we are electrical beings walking around with 86 billion neurons firing off, it kind of makes sense, as you said, like, of course, but we're not just under the sun, we are in it, we're in its field. And when it sneezes, we feel it. Like, say, a sun can sneeze, like, we would feel it. So then it's like, let's then talk about like us as humans, but also like other creatures and what are some of their habits. So we can go to birds. I feel like we talk about birds a lot on this podcast.
Lovebirds. Are they real?
Are they real? Conspiracy tinfoil. So, like the migratory species, for example, the Arctic tern, fly over 40,000 miles a year, and they have no map, no memory of their route.
They have no map. They have no atlas, no compass.
They don't got no iPhone. They're just flying. So No map, no memory of the route, and no room for error. So they always make it back to the same spot no matter what. And you could just be like, that's just birds, bro.
That's just birds being birds.
But what scientists have always believed about birds is that they follow the stars or landmarks or actual like temperature changes. That has been the belief for many years. But then again, as of recent, now people are starting to say, well, wait a minute. Like a lot of birds have magnetoreception,
Mm-hmm.
where they can literally sense Earth's magnetic field using particles of magnetite, a natural magnetic mineral found in their beaks, in their skulls. So we know this. So some birds have some specialized proteins within that called cryptochromes, and it's in their eyes, and they can react to magnetic fields, allowing them to see Earth's field as visual information and shifting colors. So now scientists
Wow.
are starting to think that they are like actually seeing the electromagnetic field. And then there's the wild part that scientists believe this could rely on quantum entanglement. That is the state where two particles remain connected no matter the distance between them. And if this is true, then birds are literally using quantum physics to get around. And so birds, as dumb as we have thought they were, they are using physics to travel around, and they have like laser eyeballs.
Well, I was gonna say they probably can see, if they can see the Earth's magnetic fields, then they could follow them like a stream. They could find a ley line and
1000%.
just be like, follow that till you get there.
That is exactly it, Ashley. I know. And that was what I was saying. I was like, oh my God, we've talked about ley lines. Like they are like following them quite literally, because
I
everybody was
love
just
that.
like, it's just birds. Like they just know. And it was like, no, like there's a science behind it. So then like this led to even more. And then dogs also, on when we're on the topic of animals, dogs tend to poop facing north or south, but never east or west, which like whip out a compass, I guess, because I don't know how
You
to
have
prove
to,
this.
because I need proof.
Like it's probably a lie, but
No, I've heard that many times, and
have you really? I was like, I've
yeah,
never
yeah,
heard that.
absolutely, because they talk about it with like cows, how like cows like to face a certain direction, but if the cows are grazing near power lines, they aren't facing the same directions. They'll all be facing different directions because something's fucking with the electromagnetic field.
Because it's messing with them. And then that's when it's like, oh, wait, your theory doesn't work. And it's like, no, there's a power line right over there.
But it is kind of interesting, like why they find more comfort in facing a certain direction.
Right.
But I was gonna say, like, everyone go out, take a compass when your dog shits. I want to know what direction they're pooping
I want to
in.
see if it's north or south. Because then if you're like, oh, my dog pooped west, then I'm going to be like, well, show me the power line for
I was
your
gonna say, yeah,
direction.
how close are you to a fucking transformer? Your dog doesn't know what direction to poop in. No wonder he's so stressed out.
So I love that because I had heard
Crazy.
about the cows, but with the dogs, I was even like, oh my God, it's happening to all of them. And a 2013 study found that they are super influenced by subtle geomagnetic cues, especially in calm magnetic conditions, which goes along with what we literally just said.
Literally.
With no outer interference, like it is pretty much a, like, yes, gung ho, go to, they will be north or south, which I just find is so fascinating. So if
So
animals can sense the Earth's magnetic field and maybe even see it if you're a bird, then what does that say about us as humans as we are now discovering certain things? Did we once have the same ability and then we lost it, like through evolution and like changes in us? Or do we still have it and it is buried deep, which we sort of talked about in our evolution episode with Joe, where it's just like, are things like still there that we need to ignite? So like we could get into that, but
It's very possible that that's the purpose behind feng shui. And
yeah,
like
the changing of direction in our,
literally, oh, if I rearrange this room, all of a sudden I feel better. And it's
my
because
energy is
you're
different.
facing a different direction.
God damn, that is such a good point.
But like we would have no fucking idea that that's what was causing it because we're dumber than birds.
That's what I'm saying is like the birds at least know, even the dogs know. They're like, well, I can't poop this way, you idiot.
Yeah, you stupid idiot. You're gonna making me poop west? Absolutely not.
So, like, has Earth been sending us idiot humans signals that we have just forgotten how to receive? So then, of course, I had to go deeper into the spiral.
Yes.
And then was looking into history. And then I couldn't remember if we touched on this or not. So I'm sorry if this is repetitive. I like tried to look through our old episodes, but did we talk about consciousness having mass or having weight?
Ooh, I don't. Maybe we haven't
I
talked
don't feel
about
like we
that.
have, but it sounds kind of familiar. But okay. And I'm sorry if this is repetitive. It is very short, but in 1907, a Massachusetts doctor named Duncan McDougall,
Good name.
it's a great name, conducted one of the strangest experiments in medical history. He was weighing dying patients before and after death, which, like, in 1907, to a lot of people would kind of just be like, what you doing, bro? But also, like, do whatever you gotta do, because, like, we don't really have any rules at this point. I don't know. That's what I'm imagining. Maybe 1907 was way more, like, lawful than
No,
I'm
I think you're
imagining, but
right.
in my head, I feel like they were just like, here you go, here's a body. So he was weighing them before and after death and using, like, obviously, like, big industrial scales, and he was claiming at the moment of death they were all losing about 20 or 21 grams, and he believed this was the soul leaving the body. And the media obviously went wild. Like, all the papers were like, hello, the weight of the soul is 21 grams. Like, people just ran with it, and like that was made historical.
Then they made a movie about it.
And then they made a movie. So his sample size was tiny. He didn't have a ton of bodies to work with, but and his methods were probably extremely flawed, but the modern science like has mostly dismissed it, but still holds on to the idea, which I think is interesting. Like, a lot of people are like, no, like, I see like what he was saying, but like we can't hold on to that. We can't prove it as fact. But like so many scientists have still held on to it even to this day. It's still like a theory of, let's see if we can figure this out, but like they don't exactly know how to measure it in a ethical way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ethical. Yeah. Because there's like ways to donate your body to science, but like usually it's after death.
Correct. And so
Yeah.
by then it's like it's too late. So it'd be like, hey, we have to weigh you now. And that, so like, of course, there's a lot of
Tough.
hoops to jump through. But part of me kind of enjoys, and we always talk about this on the podcast, when like science kind of crosses over into like the spiritual,
Hell yeah.
paranormal realm a bit. We're always like, ooh, and I like that scientists are still like, but I'm intrigued. Like, I see
Tell me
like
more.
I see where you were going with it, McDougal. So
McDougal.
they've had like some attempts to replicate the experiment on humans, animals, even insects. And sometimes researchers were able to find like small unexplained shifts, but mostly like they couldn't get to the same place that this person did. So even more interesting is in clinical settings, cardiac arrest patients who were hooked up to EEG equipment displayed continued brain activity declared after they were declared dead, which we've talked about on the show before. And sometimes it would go on for 10 to 15 minutes. 10 to 15
That's a good amount of time.
is long to me, but all of this goes to say that is this like just residual energy? Like, what is is this the soul, quote unquote, that we have talked about, or is it something else going on?
Yeah, is it farts?
Just like a whole bunch of toots? Like, what's the activity?
What is it?
What's going on? And if consciousness is like this field, like a gravity or a magnetism, it might have a frequency. And if it is a frequency, it might have some sort of structure. So then I was diving into, and then this is where we like kind of come back down to earth. We were like going from the sun and
floating
then coming back down. We're
down.
floating down.
Ah.
And then we're talking about earth and the rocks and the ground.
And the tree and the grass
And the
and
hole
the
in the
grass
tree
and
and the grass
the
and the tree and the hole
and
and
the green grass grows all around and
the green grass grows all around.
Yeah.
Man, that is...
That's a hit, okay? That is a fucking hit.
If you want to hear a bop, yeah, that's a good one. So we're gonna start the... Gosh, that's so good. I feel like at the end of this episode, we just need to listen to it. We're gonna talk about the green grass grows. No, we're gonna talk about crystals.
Love it.
As we come back down to the earth, and not in the woo-woo sense that you're thinking of. Crystal, like quartz. Like, quartz are used in watches, computers, satellites.
Yeah.
They're another word that I never say right. Piezoelectric.
Piezoelectric.
How do you just say that?
Here's the thing, that could be wrong. I'm just telling you how I pronounce it. I'm not telling you how it's pronounced.
Piezo electric. Sorry to everybody. They convert mechanical stress into electric signals and vice versa. So that means they can store, transmit, and amplify frequency. So your phone, your GPS, your clock, they all rely on crystals technically to function. So why is it crazy to think that Earth might do the same?
Yeah.
Come on, baby. The ground beneath our feet. Quartz is one of the most common minerals in Earth's crust, and some geologists and even some fringe theorists are suggesting that quartz beds in tectonic zones may act as kind of a data recorder that are like picking up the stress, pressure, and electromagnetic emotion, quote unquote, of the
Okay.
planet over millions of years. And then we have the concept of energy imprinting, where certain locations, especially ones that are like really rich in quartz or even limestone, will seem to record emotional or traumatic events. So, like, we are seeing this happen that the rocks are like
Yeah.
recording energy and emotion. And then there's like Gettysburg, there's haunted asylums, sacred land that we have like colonized and stolen. Sorry about it, let's be honest.
Oopsies.
Like, you think of all this historical land, like the history that it's seen, and it's like holding this energy, which we talk about that all the time of like, are ghosts a thing or is energy a thing? Is this like what residual haunts are all about? And
Yeah.
are crystals just like playing it back for us all the time?
Yeah, like a little digital recorder.
In a little rock, yes.
And a little rock.
Little rock. I just get like, I so geek out on this stuff. And then there are things that are actually measurable. So, again, to give you like more evidence, not just be like rocks, yay. There is the Schumann resonance.
Yes.
I know.
I don't understand them, but very cool.
I don't either. So, this is the natural electromagnetic resonance of Earth's atmosphere, specifically the space between the surface of the Earth and the ionosphere, and it creates a repeating wave that pulses at around 7.83 hertz. And that's incredibly low, super low frequency waves. But that frequency just so happens to match the alpha brainwave state in humans, the state associated with deep relaxation, meditation, and dreamlike states and awareness when we are just at like our full peace. And this is usually when people have a spiritual experience. Like, think of like ayahuasca.
Totally.
So, Earth's heartbeat, if we're thinking of it as being alive a little bit and holding that energy,
It is.
totally aligns with us. And then we can look at like some ancient places that have been built that also hold this energy, like depending on where they are, which goes along with like our ley lines talk that we have had. Like, oh my God, that goes back to like season 1 or 2.
Yeah, the fact that you can put a string on a globe and connect every wonder of the world somehow on the same line.
That's where like you can go crazy in spirals. Like, oh my gosh, like they were all built here, but like because of the energy, like you have to think like they were built here because somebody had to have known something. Is obviously the like weirdo conspiracy theorist in us all is like,
Yeah.
oh, they knew what they were doing.
Think about when we were more like animals, when we didn't have
Mhm.
technology and we didn't have so many distractions all the time. And our minds were so much less full of just garbage all the time.
It's when you can be in tune with the earth.
In tune with the earth, we think of like the ancient people, we think of like the ancient like monks, we think of the ancient indigenous, we think of these people that were so in tune with the earth. Of course they're going to know where to build these things. We don't know because we can't feel it anymore because we've got these like
We've
waves
lost it.
just shooting through our brain all the time, and it's like, no, I don't know what the earth is saying to me anymore. Oh, I wanted to say real quick before you move on,
Yes.
there's websites you can go to, and there's even like if you're on Twitter and Instagram, I know there's places you can follow. I'll try to find a specific one that will post the Schumann resonances every single day.
Yes.
So if you wanted to track them, if you keep a dream journal, for example, if you keep a dream journal or a bullet journal or an emotional journal, and you want to mark on that day like what the Schumann resonances were doing, you might actually find a pattern. That would actually be really cool and scientific. We should all do that.
You could find a connection. Yes. I told Ashley before we started, I was like, so my rabbit hole today is not like it's gonna have some new like ish things to talk about, but it's also going to connect to stuff we talked about before, but kind of elaborating. And that's
Yeah.
why I like this, is because we have talked about ley lines before, again, like season 1 or 2. And then like season 4, way later, we had the alien episode with, was it Caitlin?
Yeah.
Yes. And she was talking about that dreamlike state and like things that you
Mm-hmm.
should look into in your dreams. But we didn't necessarily connect all of that
No.
information because like why would we?
Yeah.
And so that's why I kind of liked all of this. It was like it's stuff we've talked about, but it's suddenly like coming.
What
I
if it's
know.
all connected? Once we figure it out, like once we get smart enough and we figure out what's really going on here.
Mhm.
Man, I mean, if we're alive, we're gonna look back and be like, "Boy, were we dumb." But I imagine we're gonna be dead, so it's gonna be future people being like, "Boy, they were fucking dumb. They didn't even know that the sun made ghosts.
The sun is the reason that you think a house is haunted.
Idiots."
And yeah, it's like I won't go into too much more. Like I am coming to the end because I know you also you also have some things to cover, and I can't take over this whole episode. But it's like people have actually gone in and looked at like some of these places that Ashley and I were just talking about. It's like some of those like 7 wonders of the world are just like important places where they're going in and measuring the hertz, and it is reverberating like at the exact place that would connect to a human brain. Like there is a place called the Oracle Room inside of the Hypogeum of Halsafliene, Malta.
Lauren,
Don't even.
what's its nickname?
Hal.
Hal.
And it's a 6,000-year-old. So get off me.
Okay, yeah, that's not your fault. Yeah,
Underground temple.
we don't know what they were thinking.
There's a chamber called the Oracle Room, and if you speak inside of it, your voice reverberates at exactly 111 hertz, which is known to stimulate the prefrontal cortex and can shift brain states. Like it can shift you.
Crazy.
The Great Pyramid of Giza. There's one physicist, Dr. Andre Evul. This isn't fair. Evlukian and his team went out in 2018 and they found that the internal structure of the pyramid concentrates electromagnetic energy, and it particularly resonates at 28 to 30 hertz in the King's Chamber, that specific room, similar to like the Oracle Room, the last one. So they were going in there and saying, like, we are measuring exactly what would connect with our brains, like with the humans. And if we could collect this energy in a way for people to understand, not just us physicists. I had to pull my glasses down to be a physicist. And I mean this with respect when I do that, because I'm like, you're the best nerds. We need you.
Yeah, just because you're nerds doesn't mean we don't respect you.
You are the coolest ever. Like if they could have the exact tools that they needed, it could show people like, look how it's harmonizing with us. Because sometimes it isn't exactly matching our brain, it's working with our brain, like with what we need.
Right.
It happens at Stonehenge too. I don't have to go into all of it. There are so many. I know you can go down your own rabbit hole at home.
Wink.
So then this is kind of like my last point is storms, which we kind of started with solar storms, but like actual storms. And Ashley, are you a storm enjoyer?
Love them. I
Love
love
storms too.
I love storms. I will say I don't like the ones with tornadoes, but I love a good thunderstorm. Yeah.
I love storms too. I obviously don't want to be swept up in a tornado, but thunderstorms
Yeah.
are great. So thunderstorms, earthquakes. There are multiple examples throughout history and throughout several different cultures. So it doesn't even just rest on some Dumbo in America being like,
Right.
I heard.
Well, I heard that when the lightning strikes the ground, it makes your hair stand up on your head. That kind of thing. Yeah.
I can't record with you anymore.
sorry.
You're just the best. Correct though.
Yeah.
Across multiple cultures all throughout history, people have been dreaming of earthquakes, tornado storms before they ever happened. And a couple of examples that are like big and actually recorded in history, like China, 1976, days before a quake that killed over 200,000 people. There were a few people, only a handful, that reported vivid dreams of the earth shaking, along with bizarre
Jeff Bezos, owner of Amazon.
Jeff Bezos, bizarre animal behavior, like frogs fleeing from the city, snakes surfacing coming out in the winter when they would never come out. Like, people were having these exact dreams that lined up, like people from different families having these exact dreams, and then that earthquake happened and it killed over 200,000 people, and the animals were going absolutely crazy. And so it was prophetic and also so strange that all these people had the same dream and were not connected in any way. And there's Italy, 2009. There were villagers that reported electrical sensations and nausea just days before a huge major quake. This also happened in Japan, Chile, Turkey. I can't be trusted on this podcast. In Turkey. And the list goes on, where like this has happened across the world, where not connected people, not in the same family, having prophetic dreams and just feeling sensations, like feeling the energy. So that is a crazy thing. And we are feeling these low frequency waves. We are feeling, gas emissions, subtle magnetic changes in general. And I feel like the earth is sending out signals to us, and we have just forgotten how to use them because we have evolved and we are not as sensitive as animals, which is why people are always like, why is my cat staring out the window? And it's like, because
they can see and feel things that you can't.
So basically, then here's my real summary. The sun will tweak us without our permission. It's going to mess with us no matter what we do. You just walk outside, you're screwed. Birds and other animals are sensing magnetic fields, and I'm scared of birds already. And now that I know that they basically have laser eyeballs, I'm even more terrified.
I'm scared of birds already.
Crystals. We love woo-woo crystals, but the crystals and minerals of the earth are storing memory and energy and shooting it up our buttholes. Your consciousness might have mass that leaves your body when you die. And then that brings us to Earth and our dreams and our connections. And then that might give us lapses in memory, which then makes us believe that a movie called Shazam with Sinbad exists. And I still, to this day, believe that it exists. And it is the fault of laser-eyed birds and the sun. Thank you for coming to my talk.
Thank you for coming to my talk. I will not be taking questions.
Yeah, we need to move on. Alex is leaving me tonight. Hello, weirdos. We're receiving a little bit of a dicey feed from our resident green witch. She is out in the field. We're putting up with a little bit of some rough weather out here, but we're going to try and get the scoop on what exactly is going on out there in the universe. We're going to harness some of this energy. We're going to go live right now to our resident green witch. Laura LaRue, will you give us the witchy weather forecast?
Thanks, Lauren. I'd love to. We got a lot of energy coming at us as we speak. Can you feel it? Has it hit you with all its magnificence? That's right. I'm talking about Leo season. She's bright. She's beautiful. She screams, look at me, and we are all blessed to be a part of it. Happy Leo season to all my fellow Leos out there. Unfortunately, all this wonderful star power is happening right in the middle of a retrograde. Mercury is in retrograde until August 11th. Happy birthday to me. So if you are feeling a bit sluggish, you can blame it on Mercury. We just had our new moon last night, and you might not be feeling ready to start on new projects, and that's okay. Blame it on that retrograde. The full moon, the core moon, August 9th is going to be a perfect time to get together with friends and start getting out of our funk. Witches, we've got a Sabbath we're celebrating on the 1st of August. It is Lunasa, or Lammas, first of the Harvest Festival, people. So if you needed another reminder that this year is going by a little too quickly, starting next week, it's officially harvest season. Back to you, Lauren.
Woo! That was beautiful. Leo season. Laura's
Leo season.
Leo season.
Yes, please. I'm a Leo. I love Leo season. I feel energized. We Leos can be a
I
little
hope
vain,
so.
but you know what? Right now it's all about me, and that is okay.
Hell yeah, you have to embrace that. You have to harness that. All about you. What's so funny is, like, Ashley and I alternate with the recordings with our beautiful resident Green Witch, Laura. And the last time we recorded, it was Gemini season, and I'm a Gemini, so I kind of
Yes.
love that we've gotten to have these moments together. So, anyway, take your moment, girl.
I will take my flowers.
That was a beautiful outlook, but what's even cooler about this moment is this is an extra special witchy weather forecast because we are doing a little divination reading.
Yes, divination.
Witchy weather forecast on fire. You wonderful listeners, you wonderful weirdos, wrote in some questions for some tarot readings, some oracle, some divination moments. So we don't have too much here because we're inserting this into an episode, but we have a few questions from y'all. Thank you for submitting. Please continue to do it because there will be more of this. But Laura and I both did some draws of the cards, and we want to do some readings for you all.
Yes.
So this next one it's a little tougher. This listener gave us full permission to read this, but like I think a lot of people could relate to this, unfortunately, but I mean, it's part of life. But this is from listener Michelle, and we appreciate your bravery and honesty in this moment.
We appreciate you so much, Michelle.
Truly. Michelle said that she was having some serious marriage issues and is wrestling with the idea of maybe temporarily separating from her husband, maybe moving into a cottage in the mountains to get some space for healing and growth of herself and her husband, which like that's where I'm saying like so relatable. A lot of people feel this way. Her fear is that he won't take the steps to do the inner work and that their marriage may not survive the transition.
It's heavy.
That is difficult, that is heavy, but again, thank you for your honesty. So it's not even like a question, it's just sort of like, what do I do with this? I'm considering this separation, and how do you feel? So we both did a drawing for it. And Laura, would you like to kick us off?
I will, and I will say that, Michelle, I was a little nervous to read yours. It's very, very heavy, and your reading came through so clear. I was kind of shocked. So I hope that offers you a little bit of solace or a little bit of peace, and I'm going to dive right into it. So we talked about the Four of Wands in another reading. Reversed, Michelle, for your reading, your 3-card pull, I actually did a love-based question. So we're going to focus on what brings you together, what tears you apart, and what needs your attention.
I love that.
I loved it too. Oh, when I saw that, I was like, yep, that's it. That's the one.
I think that's like such a good way that's a good way to spell it out. That's really good.
What brings you together? I pulled the Four of Wands upright. Now, if you'll remember it was Joanne's reading, she got it reversed. You have it upright, and this is a card of stability, specifically at home. Harmony, relaxation, joy. The fact that this card comes up when I'm wondering what brings you together, I think you two have built a really lovely life together. But there are issues in the relationship that are obviously making that difficult. It is really a lovely card to look at when you're looking at you as a whole, because it's saying when things are good, they're good. However, when things are bad, we'll look at what tears you apart, because we pulled the 8 of Wands upright. You can take a look there. This card represents movement and fast-paced change, high level energy. This is like a high energy card. Like, do not get in front of this card. It's barreling down the highway, like we're seeing right there. Usually propelling you towards your goals, but since this seems to be your obstacle in the relationship, is one of you in the relationship looking to move forward and one of you looking to stay put? Because based off that first card, I'm curious if one of you wants more than what you have right now and the other likes things the way that they are. Because it does. It sounds like you really built a lovely home life, but if one of you wants more, which is totally reasonable to want what you want out of life.
Very normal.
Change can be really scary, especially if you love what you already have and you're afraid that change could take it from you. This card also literally means travel. So when you write that you were looking to move to the woods for a bit, that would quite literally tear you apart. I want you to be safe if you are in a situation where you feel you need to get that space. You know you best. I'm not going to tell you whether or not to go to the woods or not. But let's talk about your final card real quick, because I pulled another wand, the 5 of Wands. And I mean, Lauren, just look at this card.
I know.
This is what needs your attention. This is conflict. This is disagreement and competition. Everyone is fighting to be heard, but no one is listening. When everybody has a different opinion, but no one is stopping to hear each other out. Oh my God, I just got goosebumps.
I know, truly, you gave me the goose pimples.
But no one is stopping to hear each other out. Conflict and misunderstanding will run rampant. If you find yourself in this situation, see it as an opportunity to rise above the chaos and disorder. Take time to listen to what the others have to say, even if you disagree. The key is to tune into one another and allow each person to make their case, and perhaps in the process, their opinions might become softer and quieter. They may also give you the respect you're seeking and listen to your viewpoint. It's very possible that some time away might help, but ultimately, I do think you guys need to listen to each other. This card suggests that the best way forward is collaboration, not necessarily isolation. When I was cleaning this up, I was typing it up, all done, picking my cards up, putting them back in the deck. I went to put my cards back in their little box, and a card fell out, face up, on the ground. I always kind of take that as
it's a sign.
What did I miss? I pulled the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is quite literally the happy family card.
Truly.
I take this as a good sign. I don't know if the happy family is with your current partner. Maybe when you go and get some clarity, you will find out that you two are not the best for each other. Maybe it's something that can be with someone else. Those are answers that you have to answer. What do you think, Lauren?
No, I'm like, we both felt very clear on our readings, and mine, again, I did a past, present, and future with my 3-card draw for you, Michelle, and the past card was the High Priestess, which I had forgotten it was for this one.
What?
I remember being like, wait, I think I drew that one. Yes, it was literally for the next reading. Michelle, I got High Priestess.
The past was the High Priestess?
For the past, which was interesting.
Very emotional, yeah.
But how I read into it was because of this, like, it's the feminine archetype, like it is representing the subconscious mind, but it's like, it's your inner wisdom. It is like that true trusting, as we said before, and like, it encourages your introspection and trusting your instincts. And so from the past, this is a positive in my eyes, because like, you got with this person, you've created a life with this person for what I think is good reasons, on trusting your instincts, and like that there was a lot of truth to your relationship and trusting that deeper instinct that was in you. So I trust the High Priestess. So to me, I was sort of like, no one's faulting you for starting this relationship.
You were together for a reason.
This was it. Yeah. And like, especially, it's just like, it just feels so divine. Like, just like this was meant to be. Like, the High Priestess card always feels that way to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just kind of saying like, hey, I know there could be what feels like a negative outcome, but like, this happened for a reason. And so I also feel like this is saying to me, have grace with yourself, even though things are challenging. Like, I think people a lot of times, if they're going through separations or divorce or whatever, they get in their heads of like, well, I just like fucked up. Like, why'd I ever trust this guy? And it's like, no. You knew what you were doing. Like, trust where you were in that moment. It was for a reason.
There were times that it was good.
Yes, of course. There was love. And then my second card was 10 of Swords. Again, so many swords today.
Your swords tonight. You are aggressive, girl.
I feel like you have had a lot of
Wands and pentacles.
Wands. I feel like you've had a lot of wands, which I always think wands are so positive, and I've had so many swords.
Aggressive.
Everybody's trying to... Okay, 10 of Swords. The 10 of Swords, it can signify a painful endings. Again, swords are usually trying to like push us forward. So
Sever.
it's usually an ending trying to like get you out of that chapter. But what I thought was interesting about 10 of Swords specifically is it usually is getting you out of some sort of betrayal.
Oh.
There's betrayal, a very difficult crisis, usually involved in a relationship. And I was like, that's insane. Because again, if we're going past, present, and future, this is your present. And so I was just sort of like, okay, even if this isn't like giving you advice, I think it's insane that like your intuition is so spot on that like this is what I pulled.
Yeah.
The crisis, maybe there was some sort of betrayal. I don't know exactly what's going on. You don't have to tell us, of course, but betrayal was said many times.
Yikes.
That was interesting. And it usually means the individual is feeling defeated. Hope will seem a bit lost, but it also has a hint of potential to move forward, but you do need to make a new beginning. So I don't want to like say too much other than that. And then the 9 of Pentacles was my future card. That symbolizes, again, Pentacles are always like, the 9 of Pentacles symbolizes financial independence, self-reliance, material abundance, and it takes hard work. It takes a little bit of heartbreak.
There you go.
It takes a lot of discipline, but it suggests that you will come into a time of enjoying yourself because it will be fully you. You have brought the riches into your life.
There you go.
So it feels like I'm saying it without saying it, and that feels so weird. It was what the card said, I swear. But that is it. Oh, I feel so weird because that, like you were saying, it felt so clear.
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, like I can't deny what that's telling me.
Your reading has definitely like influenced mine a little bit, where I was like, I think I was a little too nice. My cards were a little too nice.
But your cards related to mine,
Very
but
much.
you were way nicer about it. I felt like my cards were so direct. It was like,
yeah. You were feeling the rage for sure. That is probably there.
I was. But then that makes me feel bad. I don't know the other person.
Picking up on the rage. You know what? That's fine.
So take that for what you will, Michelle. Love you so much.
I hope that helps. I hope, if anything, it made you laugh.
Ashley has so much editing to do with this. She's going to be like, you guys were assholes. I'm gonna cut all this out. You just told a woman to divorce somebody.
Divorce her husband.
I didn't. But I did. Okay. Anyway, we are.
Listen. I told them to listen to each other.
Just listen. I need feedback from everyone that we did readings for. I'm like, tell me what's going on. You have to give us all the tea.
I want to hear if we're right. I really want to hear if we're wrong.
Totally. It's like, hey, you were way off.
I always love to go back and be like, oh, this is what that meant. Or this is what. So, like, please, 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 please send us some feedback.
Please give us feedback. We love you all so much. And also thank you to our resident Green Witch, Laura. And... oh, I'm losing you. I'm caught in a storm. Back to you, Lauren and Ashley.
All right. Well, let's move along to where in the world is Keep It Weird going? Where in the world is Keep It Weird going, baby? Wish I had a cool hat like Carmen Sandiego.
We always say that. We have to make our own.
We're going to Appalachia.
Appalachia. Okay, and that was the debate. Appalachia.
It's Appalachia. It's not Appalachia.
People say Appalachia, and I want to cry. It's Appalachia. Thank you.
It's not the Appalachians. It's the Appalachians.
Even though that is what I called it as a kid.
Same. Yeah. In grade school, it was the Appalachian Mountains. because we were right outside of it here in Illinois. We're not quite
Yeah.
in Appalachia. It's not quite part of our world. But the more I met people from the area, and they were like, it's Appalachia. And it was like, oh, well, my bad.
But also, Appalachia's crazy, and I'm so excited that you're covering this because, again, TikTok, it's all my news, and the people who are from around there are like, oh my God, it's crazy.
Well, it's the wildest. But here's the thing. First and foremost, I do want to get out of the way right at the top. A whole bunch of the Appalachia stuff, feral people, inbred cannibal, Wendigo, skinwalker, hoo-ha, is based on some real problems.
Yes.
Some racism, classism, prejudice, discrimination, etc.
It's so funny. Our country doesn't usually do that. But...
And I will touch on that. I am aware this segment will touch on the spooky woo-woo and the real hard facts behind it. So don't get your panties in a twist. I'm not here to add to the Appalachian discrimination. I'm here to explain why Appalachia is plenty scary enough without making shit up about the people that live there.
It's a good way to preface it. Love it.
But I know if you're listening to this podcast, then you know that the Appalachian Mountains are scary. They're haunted. They have Bigfoot. Our folks go missing, ghosts, goblins, etc. And I'm here to say it's all true. Okay? It's all true. Every last word. It's a very scary place, but there is a reason the Appalachians are so fucking scary, and I'm going to teach you about why that is. So,
see?
Do you know how in Stephen King's It, Pennywise is not a clown. He's an ancient supernatural being that landed on Earth somewhere around 1,000,000 BC, and he comes up to feed every 27 years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if that creature existed on Earth, it would exist in the Appalachian Mountains.
I fully believe
Full stop.
that to be true. Yeah, I was like, say no more.
The Appalachian Mountain Range is one of the oldest mountain ranges on the entire planet.
On the entire planet?
On the whole planet.
Sorry to interrupt. Just when you said planet.
I know, because you'd think it'd be like, in the United States. But no.
In North America.
On the planet. They are so old, they formed when Pangea still existed.
Oh my God.
So when all of the continents were just one big landmass, the Appalachians were there. The mountain range existed.
I honestly was coughing, but that felt like also a choke on what you just said. Okay.
Yeah, crazy. Actually, there's a mountain range in the UK. It's called the Scottish Highlands, and those mountains and the Appalachian Mountains were the same range of mountains. It was called the Central Pangean Mountains, and eventually they split. Now part of it's in Scotland, part of it's here.
Wait. Oh no, I think that was different. I was about to be like, weren't the Scottish Highlands where they kept finding like the weird bones?
What? I don't know about that. What weird bones? What are you talking about?
This will be a follow-up.
Okay.
I don't have the support.
I have nothing. I
It's
know
a story.
bones were there. Well, I would say probably not. Well, this means actually, speaking of bones, the Appalachian Mountains are older than dinosaurs, older than trees, older than the rings of Saturn, and even older than bones.
Then bones.
Bones didn't exist. We were still goo. We were just goo. In fact, there are many caves in Appalachia where you will not find a single fossil because bones did not exist when they were formed.
That's crazy. Okay.
Now, that's not to say you can't find any fossils in all of Appalachia, but in the oldest regions of the mountain range, totally boneless, won't find any bones. But I did want to make that distinction because technically one of the United States' most interesting dinosaurs ever discovered was found in Alabama and is known as the Appalachiosaurus.
Oh my gosh. Of course it is.
It's also known as the Alabama Tyrannosaur. And if you want to know what it looked like,
I don't.
picture a Tyrannosaurus Rex with long, creepy fingies.
Man.
Yeah.
That's upsetting.
The only one we've ever found was a juvenile measuring 21 feet long and weighing 1,400 pounds.
Oh my God.
Big baby.
Big baby.
Not only are parts of these mountains potentially 1 billion years old, which makes me shiver,
Right.
They're also enormous. Coming in at nearly 2,000 miles long, the northern tip can be found up in Newfoundland, Canada, and the southern tip is in the United States and Alabama. So that's 2 countries, 18 American states, and 5 Canadian provinces that this mountain range tears through.
Whoa. Whoa.
So it's ancient, it's humongous.
Huge.
It's
yeah.
also one of the most diverse biological ecosystems on Earth. Some of the most extensive deciduous forests on Earth exist here, but also there are meadows, grasslands. There are several different microclimates across the different elevations, including a rainforest. It has a rainforest.
Where? Where and when?
It touches sort of like Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia, like that area.
Whoa. That's so cool.
The coolest. But just to take us back to science class, there are 2 different types of rainforests. There's tropical and temperate. This is a temperate rainforest, but a rainforest nonetheless.
I'm over it.
You get to see. There are over 2,000 species of flora, including 158 species of trees, which is more than anywhere else in North America, and approximately 500 species of animals, including more salamanders than any other region on Earth. What's with the salamanders?
What is with the salamanders?
Is it paranormal? So, it's because of this insane collection of flora and fauna, actually, that Appalachia is known for its witchcraft, or as it's more commonly known in the area, they call it granny magic.
So cute.
Granny magic only really exists in Appalachia. And this is because when the Scottish, Irish, and English settlers arrived in the area, the ones that were like fleeing from religious prosecution, they brought their traditional, like Christian and pagan, because we know Christians and pagans overlap. They brought their traditional Christian practices in and combined it with the knowledge that they learned from the Choctaw and the Cherokee tribes about what grows in Appalachia and formed essentially their own kind of witchcraft. It's a combination of folk magic and Christian beliefs. So some of these grannies were literally using the Book of Psalms as their spell book.
Grannies?
Like, as they were doing witchcraft, they were reading Psalms. Very cool.
That is granny magic right there.
That's granny
I
magic.
Love it. But I love the crossover where it's showing like you can do both.
Yeah, you can absolutely do both. And they do. And they still do to this day. And these women, I mean, they were incredible because some of the women, usually older women in the families, were the ones that held on to the ancestral knowledge and passed it down. But they were the ones, they provided nearly all of the medical care to the Appalachians because
Oh my gosh.
they were so isolated. They were also communities of people that were quite distrusting of doctors.
Sure.
Don't blame them. The doctors still suck to this day. And so these women kept entire communities alive with unpaid labor just because it was the thing to do, which is why I think Appalachian folk magic is still revered to this day and still like a huge part of the culture.
Sure. Yeah.
So we've mapped the entire region geologically. It's been studied for hundreds of years, but there are still miles and miles of untouched wilderness. So you know what that means.
That's where the cryptids live.
Correct. Bigfoot's there. 100%. Bigfoot and his many cousins.
I don't even have a doubt in my head. That's the funny thing is like we could all be like, it's a theory. I'm like, oh no, like Bigfoot lives there.
He absolutely does.
I'm going to walk in there and I'm going to see him.
If you want to write a letter to Santa and Bigfoot and the Tooth Fairy at the same time, send your letter to the Appalachians for Bigfoot because he is there. He and his many cousins live there. In fact, the legends of him predate the name Bigfoot by about thousands of years. There have been legends of this wild, hairy man since humans existed.
Yeah, and of fucking course. I love that.
The native Cherokee tribes had extensive legends about them, especially one species of them called the Sulkalu. Much like other indigenous tribes, they had a very conflicted relationship with this giant. They respected him. They felt he was the guardian of the forest, but they also feared him because, of course, he's 9 feet tall and looks like an ape.
Real scary.
There was a book published in the year 1900 called Myths of the Cherokee that details the story behind Sulkalu and claims that he came out of the wilderness and snatched a young girl, which led to a massive manhunt where she was never found. But they did find, while searching for her over the years, because they never found her, but they continued to look for her, they did find enormous footprints next to a smaller set of normal girl footprints, next to an even smaller set of very small, strange footprints.
That guy come from?
Well, it kickstarted the legend that Bigfoot impregnates human women. Which reminds me of Willow Creek, which is the scariest movie I've ever seen. Do you remember when we watched Willow Creek for the first time?
Yes, I do, Ashley. I can't eat Firehouse subs anymore because that's what we were eating when we watched Willow Creek, and I literally can't eat them anymore because I was so disturbed by that movie, and that is something I don't think I've ever shared with you because you were always like, Firehouse subs is like the best sub place.
I fucking loved Firehouse.
It was fucking delicious, but then I was eating one while watching Willow Creek, and I've never been more disturbed.
I literally think about Willow Creek like 3 times a week.
I think about it so constantly, and that is why, like, if somebody were to be like, craving a Firehouse sub, I would be like,
not on my watch.
Ashley ruined me. Oh my god. You just, like, really triggered something in me.
I'm so sorry. But, listeners, there's a movie. It's a found footage movie. It's directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. Yes, the Bobcat Goldthwait. It's called Willow Creek. It's a Bigfoot found footage horror movie. It's so scary.
It's really good. Just don't eat a sandwich during it. But
just whatever you know that, like, if you're trying to cut something out of your diet, just eat it while watching Willow Creek and you'll never want it again.
do you have that at all? And
No.
if you're, like, watching something disturbing and you're eating something, like, it won't.
I specifically, I guess I wouldn't know because we do not eat if we're going to watch something weird or disturbing or where someone might be talking about something gross.
Oh, that's so cute, Ashley, because I'm the same way, but yet you turned on this film.
I didn't know. I'd never seen it.
Right after the subs were delivered.
I'm so sorry.
All right, anyway, continue.
Classic Bigfoot sightings have occurred in several Appalachian states, but there's also the Tennessee wild man, who seems a little more human than Bigfoot is. Reports of him date all the way back to the 1870s.
Damn.
Their legend and lore around him, they believed him to be a circus freak that escaped and lived in the wilderness. But he's close to 7 feet tall, covered in dark gray hair. He has long arms. He's slightly skinnier than the traditional Bigfoot and supposedly can run as fast as a deer.
Boo.
Boo! Too scary for me.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
There's also the Yahoo, which is named after the sound it makes, a loud Yahoo echoing through the hillsides.
That
I'm
is
sure
the
you've heard
Appalachian shit that, like, terrifies me. That's why at the beginning of your segment, when I was like, I learned all about Appalachia from TikTok, and by that I mean I learned like 2 things. It was people recording those sounds, or it was like who is like going woo. Like, I don't think you could always hear the like Yahoo, but it was just like woo, and it sounds so human.
I know.
But they're like, who, what is that? Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, so the Yahoo, it's named after the sound it makes. This creature is only 6 to 8 feet tall. I don't know why we're freaking out about it.
Cash.
He's a little stockier. He's covered in brown fur. And this one's supposedly very aggressive, not human friendly. So you better know if you're dealing with the classic Bigfoot or the Tennessee wild man or the Yahoo before you approach it.
Woo!
But here's the thing. There's also the Virginia devil monkey, which is described as part wolf, part monkey, short black fur, super pointy ears, a long skinny black tail, and stands about 6 feet tall on its hind legs, but it's usually found on 4 legs. So there's a lot of man beasts in the area.
It's too many.
It's too many. Now, a lot of people will chalk the Bigfoot tales up to feral people living in the Appalachian forests, and maybe, I don't know. I'm not going in there to find out. I don't know what they are.
I will never learn.
Won't be me. But I do think a lot of that viewpoint is a stereotype that's plagued the region throughout all time because
Forever. Yeah.
they are so isolated, they must be undereducated and therefore must be incestuous and therefore must breed feral children who are also cannibals. Like, no.
That's what I hate is I am like, that is so unfair. Like, I love learning about Appalachia. Like, I'll always be fascinated by it, but I hate that part of the lore where everybody is just like, oh, it's like the inspiration for Hills Have Eyes. They're all just inbreds. And it's like, no, they are not.
There's not a disproportionate amount of
No.
psychos in Appalachia. There's the same amount of psychos, the same portion of the population are psychos in Appalachia as the same portion of the population of New York City that are fucking crazy, okay?
And probably Los Angeles.
Yeah, everywhere.
That's why I'm pointing here. I'm like, this big city, bunch of crazies. Like, probably more than Appalachia.
Yeah, I am including a link in the description of this video. I highly recommend reading it. I can't really get too far into it, but it's a dissertation from the University of Nevada written by Carrie Farley. It's called Inbreds and Cannibals and Savages, Oh My, a genre analysis of the Appalachian atrocities. And Carrie breaks down a ton of Appalachian-based horror films and why they, along with like local lore, have contributed to stereotypes in the region by depicting Appalachians as monstrous. And it's a really great paper. I really enjoyed reading it.
I believe that. Hills Have Eyes, just mentioned.
Yeah, she covers it.
Ooh, that's one of those movies. Do not eat a sandwich during that.
No. Actually, you can skip it.
Don't watch it.
Don't
Yeah,
watch it,
actually.
It's pretty fucked up. We have already covered on the show several Appalachian cryptids and strange creatures. Mothman and the Flatwoods Monster in West Virginia. Appalachian. The Bell Witch in Tennessee. Skunk apes, which are famous in Florida and also at the bottom of the Appalachian mountain range. And also, this one happened right outside the Appalachian range, and I do mean literally right outside of what is considered Appalachia. Also, Hopkinsville, Kentucky, which our Hellier fans will know all about, where in 1955, small humanoid creatures, affectionately referred to as goblins, terrorized a family in an area of Kentucky known for its extensive cave system that connects to the Appalachian mountain range.
Interesting. Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right.
Which leads me to, I wanted to cover this like really cool tiny little Cherokee legend, because tell me this doesn't sound like what they saw in 1955 in fucking Hopkinsville, Kentucky. It's the legend of the moon-eyed people. Have you heard of this?
Oh, no.
The moon-eyed people of Appalachia. They were small, 3 feet tall, pale-skinned, blue-eyed people, creatures that were so sensitive to light that they slept in caves during the day. They only emerged at night. In fact, their eyes were so sensitive that even on nights of a full moon, they wouldn't come out.
Vampires?
Well, who knows?
I'm just saying. Interesting.
An American botanist named Benjamin Smith Burton wrote about them in 1797, claiming that the local Cherokee tribe told them that the moon-eyed people were already there when they arrived in the region. So they're natives, apparently.
That's so much worse that they were like, you are on our stolen land.
Yeah. No, technically, Native Americans stole the land from
these
3 foot tall, pale, nighttime creatures. There's a local history museum in North Carolina, and they have what they believe to be a moon-eyed people artifact. In the 19th century, a farmer dug up this strange-looking statue on his land, which appears to be 2 very small, 3 foot tall people standing next to each other close together with flat faces and very round eyes. Moon-eyed people. There's a lot of evidence that they existed. Like, obviously we don't have any solid proof they existed, but the people were writing about them. Like, they like, something was there.
Something was going on.
So skeptics will say that the moon-eyed people were actually just Welsh settlers that arrived centuries before Christopher Columbus, which would explain the pale skin and the blue eyes, but maybe not so much the 3 feet tall only come out at night.
Like, what the fuck? And that is identical to that story that I told about, like, those children.
Oh, the green kids?
The green kids, where everyone was just like, I think they were just like green and from London. And it was like, what?
Maybe they came out of the Scottish Highlands. Because the Scottish Highland Range is in the UK. It's not just in Scotland.
So everybody ready? Gather round. We are about to connect all of our Keep It Weird episodes into one.
Into one megasode.
The green children and the white pale children. I'm like, that's all gonna happen.
It is kind of crazy. We both did stories where we're like pulling all these different things we've talked about on the show before and being like, and
I was gonna say it was like everything we talked about, but elaborated and actually like added so much more.
Some lore. Now, of course, I gotta hit up the UFOs. If you think UFOs aren't prominent in Appalachia, you got another thing coming. They're so prominent in Appalachia. In fact, there's an event from 1973 known as the Great UFO Invasion of Appalachia. What? Help.
Also, why isn't this bigger news? Okay.
Why don't we know about this? Well, actually, you know about part of it because you covered the story of Charles Hickson and Calvin Parker several seasons ago, the 2 men known as the Pascagoula abduction.
Yeah.
2 guys from Mississippi. This was part of an enormous flap. And a flap, for anyone who doesn't know, that term was popularized by John Keel. I am not sure if he came up with it, but it was popularized by John Keel. A flap is when all of a sudden, like, all this activity happens.
Right, like a series of things.
Where it's like, what's going on? That wasn't the only thing that happened in October of 1973 in Appalachia.
That's insane, because that was already crazy.
I know, it happened in Mississippi, but at the same time, there were massive UFO sightings on the eastern side of Ohio. You know, the side that is a part of Appalachia. It started one night in October of 1973 when 2 sheriffs witnessed 3 pulsating globes over a local graveyard. Very spooky. And they went back, told their deputies and everything. They were like, this was crazy. We have no idea what it was. For the next week, the Franklin County Sheriff's deputies were swarmed with UFO reports, 30 to 40 reports a night of shiny objects zigzagging through the sky. And some of these reports, I mean, it's not just like, I saw something in the sky. Like, one of them was like a group of moviegoers at the local drive-in theater. They reported a bluish-white object hovering over the drive-in. It was so bright that it blocked out their view of the sky and the screen. Like, they couldn't see the movie on the screen anymore. It's those details, those specific details that I'm like, zoom in on, because it's not just like I saw something that might have been a shooting star.
Oh, hold.
Okay.
I think we might have a wilder interruption,
Oh, boy.
which I know sometimes makes for good content.
Hi.
You say hi?
Hi.
Whoa.
Woo! It's like blast her eardrum.
You gotta make sure you always keep it weird.
It's a classic, and it works every time, and I love it.
Keep yourself weird all day.
I like that. Keep yourself weird all day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, love you.
Night-night.
Night-night. Go be nice to Dad. Okay, sorry. Continue.
No, it's okay. That was adorable. A group of over 40 people witnessed a UFO come down and potentially land somewhere amidst a spread of car dealerships, but no one could actually find it once it supposedly hit the ground. A Highland County woman called the police in hysterics because she witnessed an oblong craft with blinking lights kill 2 of her cows when it landed on her farm.
Oh my God. Oh, poor cows. They always suffer.
Honestly,
Always them cows.
listen, we're not good to them. They're not good to them.
True.
What are you going to do?
I know.
The city of Reading, Ohio plunged into darkness as it experienced several power outages, which the local authorities blamed on shoddy equipment, but the locals swear on their lives that they saw a flying craft of some kind land on Main Street in the middle of town, and as soon as that sucker hit the ground, they lost power.
Huh.
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 Crazy. Even the Ohio governor at the time, John G. Gilligan, had a close encounter with an amber-colored vertical craft for 30 minutes while he was driving with his wife. This was an incredible event.
30 minutes is wild.
30 full minutes they had eyes on this thing.
Let's all think about that time. That is a lot. That is a lot.
But the craziest thing that happened during this flap, J. Allen Hynek, actually, he would go on to say that this UFO flap produced two of the most notable cases of his entire career.
Whoa.
One was the Pascagoula abduction, obviously. Crazy story. And this incident, known as the Coin helicopter event. This happened at 10:30 p.m. on October 18th, 1973, when an Army Reserve Super Huey helicopter lifted off from a Port Columbus Airport helipad, and they were heading for Cleveland Hopkins Airport, which was about 100 miles northeast. At 11 p.m., they were cruising at 2,500 feet above sea level, and one of the crew members noticed a single red light on the southeastern horizon. And that crew member kept a position on the red light for, he said, about a minute, maybe a minute and a half, so 60 to 90 seconds, before he realized this thing was coming right fucking at us.
Terrifying.
So he shouted to the captain, to Captain Coin, and was like, holy shit. And Captain Coin was like, I see it. And he started to maneuver the helicopter into an evasive descent. And he radioed a nearby control tower to see if they had any high performance aircraft in the area, but there was no response because all radio frequencies were dead. They had no way to contact any.
Of course they were.
Of course they were. It gets crazier. This is one of the craziest, actually, UFO stories I've ever heard. I can't believe I've never heard it before this minute. Help.
Oh my God.
He increased his rate of descent to 2,000 feet per minute, trying to avoid crashing into this light because he thought for sure, I mean, they were just going head-on collision. This was just an aircraft. They were going to die. He and his crew claim that the helicopter at this point became paralyzed in midair.
Mm-mm.
And the red dot came close enough that it was hovering right outside their craft, and it was completely still, hovering with them. And they could see that it was a cigar-shaped craft with no windows. There was a red light positioned on the front nose of the ship. It had a big gray metallic-looking hull that was 60 feet long with a center dome on top. The classic UFO.
I was about to say.
And a green light at the end, at the tail end of the ship, that as they were sitting there watching, this green light turned into a cone shape and became like a spotlight and pointed it right at the helicopter, which just engulfed everyone in the helicopter in this like bright green light. And they said at that moment, the cockpit went haywire. Like, Coin reported the helicopter's magnetic compass was rotating 4 times a minute. Like, it was just like spinning. There was no
Like, which way's up? I don't know where we are. Yeah.
Yeah. He also reported that the altimeter read 3,500 feet while a 1,000 foot per minute climb was in progress. So even though he still had the throttle, the stick pressed forward in descent mode, they were going up.
Damn.
I mean, this thing had it in its beams and was like, fucking move in the helicopter.
Truly, it was sucking them up.
Ugh.
Beat me up, Scotty.
But then they said, just as suddenly the craft disengaged with the helicopter, the green light went off, and in a split second, it vanished. Like they saw it take off towards Lake Erie.
Wow.
And the reason J. Allen Hynek was like, this is one of the biggest cases of my career is because like everyone who was on that helicopter were professional Army, Air Force airmen.
Right.
They were trained to be up there. They were trained
They knew
to
what they were doing. Yeah.
see and report what they're seeing. Like
And react in an emergency situation.
Yes.
It's like they knew what to do if something crazy happened and they were still stunned.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I also found out, I didn't know this, the film Close Encounters of the Third Kind was inspired by this UFO flap, this UFO wave.
What?
Specifically, this part of the story, because Ohio police and ufologists both took reports from several hysterical mothers who believed that the strange lights in the sky over their houses were specifically trying to, quote, take their children far, far away. So they got the vibe that like their kids were in danger and they need to protect their kids.
You're getting that vibe for a reason. Okay. And it made a movie that we love, but sucks for these families.
No shit. So that was an enormous flap in the 70s, but there's still plenty of sightings today. In fact, you can see strange lights every single night if you wanted to. They are called the Brown Mountain Lights. And written records of these strange lights began in the 1800s, but legends about them span back to at least the 1700s. Strange, floating, usually red, but sometimes not, pulsating lights that can be seen from several different viewpoints on Brown Mountain in North Carolina. The most prominent sites are Wiseman's View, Lost Cove Cliffs Overlook, and Brown Mountain Overlook. So for any North Carolina weirdos that want to go on an adventure, those are apparently the places you can see the lights. Some people have reported seeing over 50 of them in a single night.
Jesus. Okay.
Yeah. And there are a ton of videos. I mean, it's just constant. There are a ton of videos you can watch online that show what people are seeing out there. And even though skeptics insist that these are man-made lights, like car tail lights or natural phenomenon like ball lightning or swamp gas. Anyone who's actually witnessed them will tell you that's not what they are.
No, it's not.
It's not it. Sorry. You can tell that. I mean, if you just observe it for long enough, you'll be able to see when it is a car tail light. You'll be able to go, well, that's
Correct.
a tail light. So this is different.
Enough people have reported it that it's like, yes, you're gonna get some like woo-woo weirdos like us.
Yeah. Or people who mistake something in a brief moment.
I know what this looks like, but this is like something totally different. I just think you have to listen to like how many reports there have been.
Even the Appalachian State University has 2 cameras that run all night every night studying this ongoing phenomenon. So it's a thing. It's not taillights.
It's a thing. Yeah.
So, guess what else is in Appalachia? Centralia, Pennsylvania, the town with the never-ending fires burning underneath it.
I will never forget that. See, again, another story that I covered. I'm like, I have been unknowingly covering Appalachia.
Studying Appalachia for so long.
Well, and I found Centralia because Ashley is from Centralia, Illinois, obviously.
And everyone thinks I'm from Centralia, Pennsylvania, and it's like, no one's from Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Nobody's from there. It's just a town that's on fire forever and ever. But that is, hello, that just feeds into the lore.
I mean, here's the thing. Avoid the area at all costs.
Truly.
It's not of our world. Appalachia is not meant for us. It's meant for old gods, not us.
It is for the old gods, and you remember that.
But I wanted to leave you with one last interesting tidbit. So remember how I told you that this mountain range used to exist on Pangea, is now split between the Appalachian Mountain Range and the Scottish Highlands?
Yes.
Guess what exists in the Scottish Highlands?
Sinbad?
No.
Okay. I don't. What is it? I'm scared.
Loch Ness.
That was so loud I heard it echo on your side. Nessie.
Loch Ness.
My girl.
In fact, if you Google Scottish Highlands ghost stories, you're going to get a plethora of them. There are hellhounds, there are ghosts, there are haunted battlefields, there are phantom ships, there are witches, there's a Bigfoot creature named the Big Gray Man. You fucking name it. So it's not just The Appalachian mountain range is the other half of that same mountain range in the UK that also has a lot of creepy shit happening around it. So there might be something to this mountain range.
It's Appalachia.
It's ancient.
If I am going to die early in life, I hope it's by Nessie in the Scottish Highlands. You know, like I just want to be like, look at this cute lake if I'm on a trip in Scotland and then Nessie just swallows me whole. Doesn't that feel like...
First of all, it's not a lake, it's a loch.
Get off of me. Like, let me live. That was such an Alex Ogle moment. Like, when I'm just trying to, like, riff and live my life, he'll be like, actually,
Technically.
you called it a book bag, but it's like a backpack.
Shut up.
Shut up. Ashley, that was fascinating and scary and all the things at once.
I love this megasode. This actually is the finale of Keep It Weird, and we've enjoyed every year we've spent with you guys.
We've made it to the end.
We made it to the end. We found it out. We fucked around. We found out it's the sun and the mountains. Okay, it's the sun and the earth.
We really did.
But that's all the time we have this week for Keep It Weird. Thank you so much for tuning in. We don't have to go over our stupid business points because we already did that up front. Wow, how nice. We can go right into spinning the wheel to allow fate to decide how we are going to end this beautiful episode. Are you ready?
Sure.
Bibliomancy. Ooh!
All right, I'm ready. Do you have your creepy book?
What do you mean creepy? It's not creepy. It's acid.
Not creepy. It's cool.
What are we going to ask the acid book? Should it be about Appalachia? Should it be about the Schumann resonances? Should it be about Annabelle?
Ooh! What's so funny is it'd be so easy to cover like the Schumann resonance or Appalachia because those were important points. But I really want to ask about Annabelle.
What's going on?
What really happened?
Is she actually causing some problems? Pick a page between 1 and 108. And think of Annabelle's stupid Raggedy Ann face. Just kidding, Annabelle. I'm just kidding, Annabelle, please.
Don't.
I love you so much.
85.
Okay, 85. Oh, jeez. Okay.
Pick a new page. I don't like that reaction.
We have to say what the book gave us.
Your reaction couldn't have been worse.
And our question was, Annabelle, huh? And the acid book says, if you could go into a meditation room, close up your ears, sit down, center, go in, further in, oh, much further in. Oh, you've just begun. Keep going back in. Don't linger to smell the pretty sunflower. Don't linger to hold on to the ecstasy of bliss. Keep going in, behind the senses, behind your thoughts. And if you can go back in far enough, you will see everything you've identified with. Him, you will see your own personality, your own body, your own life drama. It's very awesome. The point is, we have gone out and out and out, and we have sought and found much, but it hasn't been enough. And now, by merely turning the process inward, you go in and in and in until you come to the place where the guru sits. Now, here's what I find interesting about that is how much we talked about the alpha brainwaves.
Yeah.
And silencing our endless thoughts to find that deep connection and become more attuned to the earth. And we connected all of that with the paranormal.
So Annabelle is us.
So Annabelle's us.
The reason Annabelle harnesses evil is because we've sent it to her. So if you want her to stop being evil, you better center yourself, bitch.
Center yourself. Okay, get yourself together. How about that? How about if you lock it up? If you don't lock it up, she might be coming to your city next, partner.
That was very appropriate for my segment, but it also makes me think we are the doll Annabelle. All right, we're
Okay,
gonna go
bye.
with it.
Keep it weird
love
forever.
you so
See you
much.
soon.
Keep it weird.